town of Eldamore was supposed to be a fresh start for the Walker family. After years of city life, they craved peace, space, and simplicity. Their new home, a Victorian-style house nestled on the edge of town, seemed perfect. It was old but charming, with creaky wooden floors, a wraparound porch, and a backyard that bordered a thick, ancient forest. 13-year-old Lily Walker wasn't thrilled about the move. She missed her friends, her school, and the noise of the city. The house felt too quiet, too still, but her parents, Emily and Mark, assured her she'd love it once she settled in. The first night passed uneventfully, but Lily couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. She chalked it up to nerves and exhaustion. After all, moving was stressful. The next day, Lily explored the house while her parents unpacked. In the attic, she found an old rocking chair and a dusty trunk filled with faded photographs and yellowed letters. One photo caught her eye, a group of people standing in front of the house, their faces shadowed and indistinct. That night, as Lily lay in bed, she noticed something strange. In the corner of her room, just beyond the reach of her bedside lamp, a shadow seemed darker than the rest. At first, she thought it was her imagination, but the longer she stared, the more defined it became. It wasn't shaped like furniture or a coat rack, it was shaped like a man. "Mum," Lily called out, her voice trembling. Her mother appeared in the doorway moments later. "What's wrong? There's something in the corner." Emily flipped on the overhead light. The corner was empty. "It's just shadows, sweetheart," she said, brushing Lily's hair back. "This house is old. Shadows play tricks on you," Lily nodded. But as her mother turned off the light and left, she saw it again, the shadow man, standing perfectly still. Over the next few days, Lily noticed the shadow man everywhere in the hallway, at the edge of the woods, even in the reflection of her bedroom window at night. He never moved, never made a sound. He just watched. When she told her parents, they dismissed her fears. "You're just adjusting to the new house," her father said. "It's normal to feel unsettled at first at school." Lily tried to focus on making friends, but her mind kept wandering back to the shadow man. She drew pictures of him in her notebook, tall and dark, with no discernible features. One day, her art teacher noticed the drawings. "That's interesting," the teacher said, her voice cautious. "Where did you get the idea for this?" "I see him," Lily replied matter-of-factly. The teacher's face paled. "You should be careful, Lily. Sometimes when you see things like that, they see you too." The nightmares started soon after. In her dreams, the shadow man wasn't still. He moved, slow and deliberate, stepping closer and closer. She couldn't run, couldn't scream. When she woke, her room always felt colder than it should. And sometimes she thought she heard faint whispers coming from the walls. One night, she woke to find the shadow man standing at the foot of her bed. This time he moved. Slowly he reached out, his long, spindly arms stretching toward her. Lily screamed, and her parents rushed in. The shadow man was gone. "We're calling someone," her mother said. A priest, a psychologist, anyone who can help. While her parents sought help, Lily decided to do some digging. She went to the town library and searched for information about her house. What she found made her blood run cold. In the early 1900s, the house had belonged to a man named Elias Crow. Rumor had it that Elias was a reclusive man who dabbled in dark rituals. People in town claimed they saw strange figures around his house at night, and some believed he had summoned something he couldn't control. Elias vanished one night, leaving behind only his shadow burned into the wall of his bedroom. The Walkers invited a priest to bless the house, but it only made things worse. The shadow man grew bolder, appearing not just to Lily but to her parents as well. One evening, the family dog, Max, began barking furiously at the empty corner of the living room. Suddenly, he yelped and collapsed, lifeless. Desperate, Emily found an old journal hidden in the attic, a journal that had belonged to Elias Crow. It described a ritual to banish the shadow man, but it came with a warning: once the shadow sees you, it will never stop watching. With no other options, the family decided to perform the ritual. The ritual required candles, salt, and an incantation from Elias's journal. The family gathered in the living room, the air heavy with dread. As Emily read the incantation, the shadows in the room began to writhe and stretch. The shadow man appeared in the center of the room, taller and more menacing than ever. His form seemed to flicker, as though he existed between two realities. "Keep going," Mark shouted as the candles flickered violently. The shadow man lunged at Lily, but a barrier of salt stopped him. He let out a soundless scream, his form dissolving into darkness. When the ritual ended, the room was silent. The shadow man was gone. The walkers sold the house and moved far away, but Lily never truly escaped. At night, in the corner of her room, she sometimes thought she saw a shadow darker than the rest. And in her dreams, he was always waiting.